Exactly 10 years ago, on December 9, 2015, the first issue of the Batman/Teenage Ninja Turtles crossover premiered. Hello, I'm XRTT, and today I will be discussing all the instances in which this character have met. This won't be a super in-depth analysis, but rather a quick overview. Before we move to the comic book that inspired this video, we need to reach for another one. In January 1993, a special from Mirage titled The Maltese Turtle was published. A rather rocky story. Raphael at one point tries to summon Splinter for help by sending a mental SOS. However, he doesn't success immediately, and he finds himself in a story featuring Batman. He appears in two frames, and this is essentially a parodic appearance, suggesting that the character is doing nothing but recounting his tragic past. This story isn't the only one reference to Batman in 1993. In the 7th season of the 5th animated series, we got an episode titled Night of the Dark Turtle. As part of the story, Donatello loses conscience, and when he regains it, he reveals himself to be a CD channel character, referred to as the Dark Turtle, and he changes his style to one that definitely resembles Batman's suit. Then there was a significant break, and we arrive at the comic I mentioned as the reason for this video. At the end of 2015, we got the first issue of the 6-issue series. The last issue was issued on May 11, 2016. This is the first official meeting of these characters, allowing them to get to know each other. I really like this comic. In fact, I included it, along with most of these crossovers, in my top 5 TMNT things video. We also have a standard cast of characters here. Even if someone knows little about the Turtles or Batman, these are the characters they are already familiar with. This series has 3 volumes, but only the first volume have a unique title for each issue. The Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures issue also have unique titles, but more on that shortly. The comic garnered considerable popularity, being published in many languages besides English. For example, in Poland we received a collected edition of all 3 volumes. There were also German, French and other editions. I'm not trying to provide a complete list here, just mentioning that there were quite a few. It wasn't long before we get the next story featuring these characters. Well, not quite this one, because we are talking not about the second volume, continuing the story we just discussed, but about the Batman/Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure series. It was published from November 9, 2016 to May 10, 2017, and each issue has its own unique title. But this Batman is from the DC Animated Universe, while the Turtles are from Amazing Adventures TMNT. It's a similar story really. We have a whole bunch of characters, primarily from the Batman universe. Additionally, there's a certain division. The first 5 issues takes place at the same time, and the 6th takes place sometime after them. So we have a new Robin and so on. Cool idea. We had another 6-month break and got the second volume of the Batman/TMNT story. This time, all issues had the same title, A Night of New York, with the addition of Part 1, Part 2, and so on. The first was released on December 6, 2017, and the last on April 18, 2018. In the first volume, the Turtles entered Batman's world, but here we have the opposite situation. Batman and his team entered the Turtles world. Of the 4 crossovers, this one is my least favorite. The only storyline is weak. Above all, it's very predictable. But I wouldn't go so far to say that this comic can't be skipped and jump to the 3rd volume. The next 2 things were released almost simultaneously. But first, the comic. 6 issue again, this time under the common title Crisis in a Hard Shell, and they were published from March 5th to October 2, 2019. And as I mentioned in the video about the top 5 TMNT things, it's a truly great story. My favorite crossover of all of the TMNT crossovers ever. It's not just a simple meeting of characters from these 2 universes, but a fusion of them into one. Plus, there's a solid multiverse storyline, featuring Raphael in a start, later followed by the other 3 original black and white Turtles from the Mirage comics. It is an absolutely amazing story that I love revisiting and comment to any TMNT or Batman forum. Although some knowledge of the other universes is also helpful to better enjoy the comics. Between the first and second issue of the 3 comic book volumes discussed above, we got the movie version, with a completely different and original story, a very standard one. We have characters from both universe, villain joining force, a mutagen used of Batman villains, and so on. It's a solid story, but I return to it the least often. I rank it higher than Batman/TMNT Vol 2, but I revisit it more often cited by reading all of the comics, where I have a fewer opportunities to do with the movie. And that's basically all. Honorary mention goes to 2 computer games. Injustice 2, released on May 16, 2017, which features Batman from the beginning, and to which all the Turtles were added at DLC in February 2017. So you can fight Batman with Donatello there. The second is the game Fortnite, in which skins with these characters appeared with Batman in 2019 and with TMNT in 2023. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked it, and I hope to see you again in the next video. Bye!